Hi, my name is Dina McKittrick, and uh, I read the Stones in the Stones of Change readings. And right now I'm doing a reading a day, hopefully. We'll see. This is my second day, and feeling a lot less nervous than I did yesterday. Boy, that was a big thing to get over. Anyway, um, I'm going to do a reading for you today. I was trying to figure out a question. I'm doing a 10-minute reading with uh, one question per session. And so this reading is for all of us. It's for me, it's for everyone else uh, um, that it touches, that gets something from it. I have no idea who it's for, but there you go. Um, so I was asking my husband if he had any idea what the question should be for everybody for today. And he said, yeah, grief. And I said, okay, what's the question? And he said, that's it, grief. So that is what I'm going to do with the reading today. And um, we'll see what happens. So I'm going to gather up the stones and talking about grief could be about uh, what does it mean in this time? What are the causes? What are the cures? What is, or if there is a cure? I'm not sure. Let's see what the reading has to say. So let's just see what the stones have to say, because what I have to say is not as important as what the stones have to say. So sometimes I pray, sometimes I meditate, and sometimes I sing to the stones. Not usually when I'm doing individual readings, but I thought today I might sing my prayer. Geneo, Geneo, Hea, and I sprinkle the stones inside the circle. Okay, so here's the stone that says one thing and one thing only. That is, this is the most important part of the reading. And this is in regard to grief, the question. And so it is here, directly out from the balance point between physical and emotional. Yesterday it was between physical and spiritual, right in the middle. Today it's right in the middle between physical and emotional. And next to it, it has the Pono stone. Pono stone is the shaman stone, um, the ability to see through the different layers of reality and see the bigger picture, maybe. The ability to recognize that our choices create our experiences. Um, and that is right next to the Aloha Stone, very similar to yesterday in that regard. It's right next to the Aloha Stone, which is to love is to be happy with. It's also to, it's, well, it's got a lot of corollaries, but the big thing is that in order to engage unconditional love, um, which is where our hearts always want to be, in order to engage that, it's important that we bless that. If we bless something, if we give it our blessings, if we give it our or we look for the gratitude in it, or what can I, in this comfortable position of, like, the COVID-19 thing, the isolation, what good things am I getting out of it that I can express gratitude? That brings in that unconditional love. That opens up the channel for our heart to open, and like that. But it's right next to this stone, which is the health stone, and it's turned in the direction of unhealthy. It's not healthy, it's unhealthy, and it's over in the emotional area. So it's unhealthy emotional response is going on, and that is all of those are directly out from these stones here. So I want to point out that no, that's not it. Oh, never mind. I was seeing something that I wasn't seeing. So these stones that they're directly out from in the wheel, this is receptivity. It has very much to do with being open, empathetic, maybe even intuitive in a gut sense kind of way. In other words, way of feeling the emotions of it. Not so much I can see something, but that I'm feeling it. And this stone here is the Mother Stone, which is all about mother energy, the nurturing, the feminine, the holistic view. I'll show you that stone a little closer, just because I think it's beautiful. I love sharing my stones. And this one, this strawberry quartz here, has to do with unconditional love. So this is kind of a whole grouping that has to do with empathy, love, nurturing, all of that. And with the Aloha stone right out from that, it really is strengthened. Then on this side, was still within the influences, but more over towards the unhealth or unhealthy response. We have this stone, which is called Pond, and it's the cool, still waters. It's that place where you go and you can just listen to the silence of the waters. And then swamp, which swamp is, where all of the emotions are oozing and going around, and you have all the swamp gases happening. There's a certain political leader that's talked about draining the swamp, and everybody else has talked about draining the swamp. So that's interesting that it's out from there. But it's the where everything kind of is super busy and in the mud, and things get stirred up. And then on the other side of that is meditation. Meditation sits here right next to the cave and the bear and going within and dreams and that kind of thing. But meditation here, this triplet has a whole dynamic. Can you even see that? I don't know. Yeah, you can see it. Okay. Sorry. So this dynamic that happens here is you go into the swamp of emotions. You've got all of that busyness, all of the old feelings, the rotting carcasses of triggers and emotions that you buried, and unpleasant memories that you never wanted to remember, that kind of thing. Those things that twist us in the gut, and that are really the basis for ill health. All emotions need to move. Emoting is moving of the emotions, and in order to maintain health, we need to move our emotions, and so the swamp is where they are moving inside, but they never got released, and so the gases off of the swamp are not pleasant because they're still trapped under there. So in the swamp, all the ill health, emotional ill health, goes oozing around, and so we've got this love stuff happening here. What happens is we can dive into the emotions of the swamp, and then when we get tired of that, or we can't stand it anymore, or we're triggered so big that we can't stay there, we come out and jump in the pond of that stillness and that ease and that grace. Catch our breath, and then go back in to the swamp and dig around and see if we can let some of that out, and free to move around and get out of being trapped in our body. And then on this side, the meditation, so we might go into the pond, or we might go into meditation, or that more mental, slightly more mental way of stilling those voices. And in the pond, it's more of an experiential soothing, and in the meditation, it's a more heady type soothing, but either of those soothe the effects of the swamp without covering it up. They're not covering it up. They're helping to heal it. So that's what all of those are surrounding. Now the reading, there's another stone that I always read, and that is called the fan. And the fan is another word for hologram in the stones. It's not anywhere else, but in a hologram, when you look at the image of I've been told this, I believe it's true. When you look at the negative for a hologram, and if you were to cut it up into many pieces, every piece of it would still have the whole picture. Whereas in a negative from a regular photograph, if you cut it up, you'd just have a little piece of the picture. Well, that holographic way of looking at things is what this stone is all about. This is called the fan, and it points at that little teeny piece of the puzzle that shows the whole big picture. And it's pointed right at Ike. Ike is the world is what you think it is, or life is what you think it is, or reality is what you think it is. And so that's what this is all about. All of this, it's about the world is what you think it is. So next to Ike is the third chakra stone. It's about the third chakra, which in the stone readings is all about family. It's all about relationships. It's all about how you're dealing with other people. And how perfect is that for this reading? And so the world is what you think it is, and relationships. That's what the grief is all about. And then we come over here to where it's ending up, and we've got two stones side by side where it ends. This one is all about the spiritual nature. It's about spiritual purity. If you're religious, it's about the pure beliefs within your religion, the where your heart comes from as you practice your belief system. It could be called the Buddha stone, because it's about sitting in the here and now of your belief systems. So that it's ending there, but it's also ending on this one next to it, and that one is the spiritual waterfall. And the waterfall, when you're going down a stream and you get to a waterfall and you head over the waterfall, there's no going back. You can't go upstream on a waterfall. It takes over, and you are out for the ride. You've got to go in with the ride. Those decisions were already made, and we are on the journey. If you were doing a tarot reading, it would be the Chariot. It's the horses are running, and just hold on for the ride. But in regard to the spiritual area. So it's got that little extra punch to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and, because this is what the whole reading is about, I'm going to go ahead and talk about these two stones on either side of those two stones. This one is the lotus, which is taking from the mud, which is the opposite of it's very related to the swamp. That's why I want to read it. Taking from the mud with the roots down in the mud and coming up with this beautiful flower, this beautiful near perfection flower. And the flowering of our life, the flowering of our understanding, the flowering of our belief systems. So that's on one side. And then on the side of the waterfall, we have Grandfather Lightning Strike. This is a real interesting stone. I'm going to show it to you close up. It's you can see that it's like a tube. And this is called fulgurite, and it's what happens when lightning hits the sand. And that's the tip of the lightning hitting the sand, and it forms that stone. So Grandfather Lightning Strike is all about, it just hits. It's probably a once in a lifetime thing, if ever. It's not a guarantee that you're going to have a lightning strike experience in life, and some people I know have gotten hit by lightning more than once, but it's not very usual. So Grandfather Lightning Strike is about that one hit in life, and everything changing. Everything is anew. And so the whole reading is about the world is what you think it is, and relationships in regard to those things. So what would be let's see. There's a couple more stones that I just want to include. I'm just feeling really strongly that I should. This one here is called onion skin. It talks about how when we walk the medicine wheel, and we walk it, in cycles. All of our life goes in cycles, and there's a bunch of different ways of explaining that, but for the purpose of this medicine wheel, we go around in cycles in all the different areas of our life, and sometimes it feels like we just keep walking the same thing over and over again, and people will say, well, God, I thought I dealt with that. I thought I had taken care of whatever it was, and this is a mental spiritual area. So it's something about belief systems, basically. And so I thought I had established that. I thought I knew what I believed. But the onion skin says, yeah, you dealt with that issue, whatever the issue was, where you were bumping up. You did, but we don't just walk round and around the wheel. It's a spiral. It's a spiral. We keep working on issues. We keep working on things, and we do get it. We do have the answers, but then we go to a deeper level as our energy rises, as the little waves get faster and faster, as then we come back around to the same area, but we're not down here, we're up here. And then the next time we'll come back and it'll be even higher. So yeah, it feels like you've dealt with that before, and it's pointing at grandfather lightning strike and plebeian. Plebeian is the regular rock from a driveway. You know, those white crystalline rocks that, and it talks about even in the most normal, simple way, you might think, oh well, you can find those rocks anywhere. They're anywhere. They're very plebeian. They have that the stone is beautiful. It's multifaceted little crystals in there, and it's just extraordinary. And so what that stone talks about is that about finding the extraordinary within the ordinary. It's about discovering the beauty within the very simple. It's about taking a moment to breathe in this moment and discover all the beauty within it. So that was the reading about grief. I got quite a bit out of it myself. I really feel that digging into the emotional stuff, I've been doing a lot of that lately, working on a lot of clearing of old triggers, of old just garbage that I need to get rid of. And so it fit for me. And then also the whole COVID thing, it kind of seems to me that that's what it was about when it talked about relationships. A lot of us are going through the grief and the anger and a lot of different emotional things because of this whole pandemic that we're dealing with, and a lot of it has to do with our relationships. So I'm not surprised that the Stones came up with that. And also the thing about the spiritual connection, and that we're kind of on this roller coaster ride. It seems to me that we have a choice of either kind of falling into this big negative hole that is going on, that is all about fear and all about falling into the he said, she said political stuff. I don't even want to say that. Or of going through and raising ourselves up into a new paradigm. And so I found that interesting that the Stones went into that. Anyway, thank you for watching. and I will attempt to do another reading tomorrow. If not, then the next day, but pretty darn soon. And if you have any question that you think might be good for all of us to have a reading about, email me, text me, or write it in the comment section down below, and I will consider it for a future reading. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.